All right, it's morning huddle time. Good morning.
No, I'm not saying it works.
I wish you
I'm just saying it
Godspeed.
happens.
I Godspeed with all of that. I think that's really, really nice. I'm not sure what kind of success you're going to have with that today, because the world, my friend, has changed.
Right.
Latin American construction workers, they have different needs. They have completely different needs.
These awards have a huge criteria that you have to fill out, and they usually have a community service or community relations portion.
Makes them, the most productive with a high performance value, and sometimes it's 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Funny, isn't it? Yeah, not for me.
Not for me.
At 11 o'clock, I am guaranteed to be snoring. So. All right, it's morning huddle time. Chad Prinky here, as always, with my co-host and producer, Stacy Holzinger. Stacy, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Good morning. Good morning, Ryan.
Morning, guys.
Yeah, so we have Ryan Lanser here with us this morning. Dirt Jedi, Ryan Lanser with Affordable Site Model. I love the I love the name. I wonder how you ended up with the moniker Dirt Jedi, but it's working for you. It's good stuff. I see your stuff on LinkedIn and your videos, your content stuck out to us. That's why we reached out to you and said, man, we'd love to have Ryan on to talk about what he's doing. So it's a affordable site model. You know what? Take it from me. Take 30 seconds or a minute or whatever and describe to our audience a little bit about who you are, what you do, how you got to where you are.
Sure. So I'll go way back. Dropped out of high school very, very early. Needed to work. So found myself in a labor position digging trenches for a few years and kind of started there. Eventually, a heavy equipment job opened up. So I ended up landing on the equipment and started learning how to operate equipment. And then just kind of from there, just trickled all the way up the ladder. And actually an injury kind of set me on a different trajectory. I'd been hit by dump trucks. I've been almost killed by excavators because, construction is getting safer, but was also very dangerous 25 years ago.
I mean, there are risks involved. There's no doubt about it. And 25 years ago was a totally different ball game. I remember I worked construction right out of college, while I was in college, I was working on a commercial site. I fell right into a ditch this close to rebar that would have really messed up my day, man. So I can relate.
Yeah, so that's what happened. I got injured, and the office staff, there was kind of an old timer on his way out to retiring, estimator that had been with the company for 50 years, and they said, hey, you're on not bed rest, but you're on light duty, so you can work in the office, but you can't work in the field for the next 2 weeks. So he took that as an opportunity to snag me up and put me in front of AgTech, which is the main software that we use for earthwork takeoff services. And AgTech came in, they trained me, and actually one of the main guys that trained me, he goes, man, I don't see a lot of guys with a knack for this because you've had the field experience and you're just getting it. And he's like, you ought to go out on your own. And I was young, and I was like, how do I do that? So I just kept working my way up, and I ended up being operations manager for that whole company at the age of 24. And then
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was really cool. Went from, we had 12 employees. I grew it to about 80. And then I was 24 years old. And then 2008 happened. Bam, everything collapsed. We were 100% residential. So overnight, the company just folded. So then from there, I went on to estimate other heavy civil companies in California. I got a heavy civil estimating job for Rodman Excavation in Dallas, Texas for a while. Came in and built their whole plan room and takeoff system and got them rolling on AgTech as well. And then I decided to go out on my own 11 years ago. And so now we provide full earthwork takeoff services, pre-bid, full GPS machine control data modeling for jobs once the contractor lands the job, and drone topo data acquisition, pretty much the three services we offer.
We're going to get into what all that means in this episode, and for I think for Stacy and I, for both of us, what jumped out is that we're the Morning Huddle is all about a platform for people who are talking about progress and positive change in the building industry. And I think what you're doing is a nice and very specific topic to talk about a narrow place where you're making a really big impact. So looking forward to hearing more about it. Stacy, as always, let's make sure that we get great questions channeled in from the audience, and I know you also have questions of your own that you're waiting to ask Ryan. So we'll come back and do some audience questions here with whatever 5-10 minutes left. Yeah.
Yep, sound good.
See you soon, Stacy. All right. So Ryan, let's start with I think the question that's on everybody who's watching on their mind, which is, how do you grow an epic beard like that? No, wait, sorry, that's not the question. That it just, man, I could use some pointers. I can't pull it off. What makes site takeoffs challenging in the first place? Like, give us the lay of the land with doing a site takeoff. I guess sort of the old-fashioned way, or the traditional way.
Yeah. Well, traditionally, they teach you, they teach you the ground, or it's called grid method. So old school way, and I was taught coming up this way before software, you would take the job and break it down into grids, and you kind of average out the existing ground in this quadrant, and then you would take 4 new design elevation shots, and you would average those, and you would just run, they call it end area average calculations, and you would do that over the site, and then you would add up all your numbers on a sheet, and then you'd have your cut fill quantities. And then they went to a digitizer board, where we would tape the plans down physically on the board, and we would have a clear little puck that we would trace all the data. It would go into the software, little rudimentary, but it would come up with the end area calculation for every square foot much, much faster. Today we have actual PDF and CAD capability. So we just take the electronic plans, pull them right on the screen in the software, trace them over the screen, or implement the engineering CAD file directly from the engineer that already has the data in there. And then we don't have to recreate it from plans, because it's kind of, it's weird, because like we take, the engineers design it in AutoCAD, they have all the line work, but then they produce a PDF set of 2-dimensional plans that you're most of the time using for takeoffs. And so we're actually just recreating what they've already done half the time to get to the same end result. So the challenges are, there's a wide variety of engineers out there. Even if you're in a small area, you're dealing with 10, 12, 15 different engineers. They all have different styles. They have different ways of labeling things. So the real challenge is learning the engineer's language on your projects. That's a big challenge.
So what inspired you? Like, I'm listening to your story, and it's I think it's cool. It's inspiring, I think, in general, to anybody who might be an audience member right now thinking about their own career trajectories and possibilities, and what's out there for them. What inspired you to get into what you're doing? What about the way things were happening made you think of a way things could or should be happening? You know what I mean? Like, what inspired you?
Well, I definitely saw the power of the software early on. In 1998, I saw the power of the software, and I was tied in with the company developing it, and I knew where it was headed. And also, I was exposed to machine control, GPS machine control early on, one of the earliest companies to have in California. So I was exposed to that technology, and we started figuring out ways to utilize it to become more efficient, to do more work with less people. And I saw immediately, I just saw this upward trajectory for the future of, 1 in 1,000 contractors had it 25 years ago. Today, 10 years ago, 1 in 10, 5 years ago, 5 in 10. And I know for sure, in the next 5, 10, 20 years, you're going to buy equipment that's going to come on it. So every contractor will have access to this technology. And I saw that, I just had a natural love for it. And just dove all in. Been doing it ever since I was 15.
That's awesome. And the that kind of fortuitous time that you spent in the office unexpectedly really was a career total career changer for you. That little moment made its way into your big story. I thought
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I would say also it was trying to get out of the field. That was the other big motivator is hot days. Running a paving machine with 350-degree asphalt in front of you, under you, and behind you for 14-hour days. 7 days a week. It's I knew from seeing my dad in construction, who was a framer. I knew at a certain age you're not able to do that as well anymore, and so you have to up your skill set and move up the ladder so you're not the guy shoveling.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at some point in your life, you're going to want to not be the guy shoveling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and that point comes for different times for different folks.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So what put us in the I guess in the minds of your customers, the earthwork contractors that you're working for. Um, what are their priorities, and what matters most to them in regards to being able to create an accurate takeoff using your technology?
Yeah, they have to trust it. They have to have these guys are bidding, million, 2 million, 5 million, 10 million, $50 million jobs off this data. And a lot of them, they don't really know who we are when they first try us out. So, it's like, hey, here's a small project. We're going to do our own takeoff. You guys do one, then we're going to compare. And then as we get a couple down the road, we start building trust. When they call me and I can answer their questions and they're like, okay, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's obviously estimated before. We start building that trust, but it definitely comes down to the biggest challenge in what we do is timelines. Estimating is very rapid paced. It's even more fast paced now than it was a year ago or 2 years ago. A lot of times you have a job put in front of you that you have to bid that's due in 2-3 days. So most of the time our projects come from just that time constraint where the contractor does not have enough time themselves to produce the work, and they can outsource it to us. We have a team set up, and we get it done for them, and we get it done right.
And then once they do that, do they stick with you?
Oh yeah, yeah. We lose very few clients. It's pretty cool actually, because and there's guys I've been working with from day one. The last 11 years, and they've never left, and they send us more and more work all the time. So it's really cool to see.
You talk about they need to trust you. They need to trust the tech. They need to trust the technology, which is right. That's your product.
Yeah.
What is it that creates that trust? Like when's the moment where they go, man, that was awesome?
Yeah, I think it's I see it the most with the post report conversations. So when after I send them all the data and the reports and they're analyzing and they're starting to wrap their head around it and they have a few questions and then they'll reach out to me and when I have those answers for them every single time and I know what I'm talking about, they just it's immediate trust. Then they start to, you can just see them, you can hear them on the phone just start to relax and okay, the numbers, okay, now I understand the numbers are right. And it just immediately, once you answer a few of their questions that are on specific to what they're estimating, and it's just having the confidence to do that and then know how. And I think that's where I see the light bulb just switch.
Do you perform this service? What's the footprint? Like how far and wide do you go?
So we're international, worldwide, really. I say we have several clients in Canada, several in Australia, Bahamas. We work for municipalities in Bahamas and several islands, and then all of the encompassing United States, east to west coast, up and down, everywhere.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What enables you to be so flexible with where you can do the work? What are all your employees located? You're in California.
We're in California. I did build a model to where all of my employees are in-house. A couple guys doing this business. A couple of the guys that are our size range are doing remote. I just stuck with in-house, and that's how I've been building it. And I haven't really gone the whole remote route yet, but that's really how I'm running it. And yeah.
Are guys getting on airplanes and going all over the world all the time, or how's that working?
That allows me no. That's so we're able to service the entire world over email and the internet because they basically send us the files. We do all the data processing in the software, and basically what we're selling is just PDFs with the data on it. So we're just emailing them the PDFs, doing a follow-up phone call, and running through all the information with them, and so that enables us to scale. When I first started this, I was like, okay, I'm going to do my county, and then I was like, well, I can do the counties around me. And then I realized, well, wait a minute, I can do California. And I'm like, why am I just doing California? I can do this in Nevada too. And then 6 months later, I'm like, why can't I do Nevada, Arizona, Washington? And then I was like, wait a minute, why am I even limiting myself at all? So
That's awesome.
That's where my mindset changed to let's help as many people as possible. Let's get these contractors some work. Let's make them money. Let's just help people, and the rest will figure itself out.
What's been your biggest, I guess, marketing engine? Where are most of your opportunities coming to you from?
So I'd say the two things: Google for sure, and then one I've tapped into the most, probably definitely LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I went hard on LinkedIn 10 years ago. Had a daily routine to build my following, and I stuck to it. If I didn't stick to anything else, I stuck to that routine, and that has served me well. And I've got over 30,000 followers. And in fact, most of our marketing is shut down and has been for the last year, just because the word of mouth momentum and LinkedIn that we've created and everything else, it's just the work pours in right now. And so we've shut out a lot of our paid marketing is shut off and has been for over a year.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
It definitely is a testament to putting out useful content on LinkedIn. Just for kicks, I got this is mostly for Stacy. Yeah, I'm bringing Stacy back because she's going to want to talk about the marketing aspect. What was your LinkedIn routine? What did that look like?
Well, it consisted of, if I did nothing else every day, I went on and added 10 new connections every single day. That was literally it. It was very simple. 10 new connections every single day. I didn't go to bed. My head did not hit the pillow unless I'd added 10 industry specific connections. So I would look for estimators, project managers, anybody in excavation. If they were in electrical, I didn't add them. If they were in, unless it was my niche, and I just went in on the niche and I did 10 a day religiously. And that's what grew my LinkedIn. Prior to that, it was the same concept, but with email marketing list.
Yeah.
So I would add 10 emails to my list every day. I would go hunt down the websites and I'd build my email marketing list. And that's what launched ASM the first 5 years. And then before I really started going hard on, but I was doing the LinkedIn at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes so much time to grow. But now I'm at 33,000 followers, something like that.
So what's the future? I'm sorry, Stacy, did you have a follow up to that?
I was just going to say thank you so much for just saying it's a journey, because so many clients I work with, they're like, I post it once and why isn't everybody, and I'm like, no. This is a long-term game that you have to do consistently, like exercising, like you gotta, so thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, it took me 10 years to hit, videos or posts that do 1 million, 2 million views. It took me 10 years to get one of those, And I mean, the first 8 years, it was like 5 or 10 likes or 5 or 10 views. And then it just finally exponentially kind of took off. So
cool.
You have employed the same video shooting tools that maybe I should say I've copied you over time, in that you and I've done the same thing, which is holding the camera while walking in public. God, that's awkward.
I don't know how you guys do that.
I'm looking around. I'm like, I know I'm a douche. I get it, but I'm doing the thing. But you know what? Those videos really pop. Like I've seen several of those videos from you, and I don't know. There's something about them that's dynamic. I stop, I watch, and anyway, kudos to what you're doing from a marketing standpoint. Bring it back to the industry for a minute. What's the future? What do you believe is the future of your industry? Is there a space in which what you're doing becomes just kind of the norm, and it's just built into what every company does, and And if so, what does that mean for ASM and where you're going?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it is becoming more the norm every day. Right now, we have a lag on the engineering side of things. Engineers are still doing things from the 1960s, 1970s. Their methods, they've all picked up AutoCAD, but like I was kind of touching on earlier, they're producing two-dimensional drawings in AutoCAD, then they're plotting those two-dimensional drawings on paper. And that's what we're building jobs off of still, or maybe PDF format. But it's like a lot of times all of that 3D data is there. They've done the work, they've done the engineering, they've done the slopes, they've done all the 3D polylines are already in their file. There's just a huge disconnect between what they do and the builders right now. And we're working with a lot of engineering firms, showing them that, teaching them that. Hey, look, spend a little more time on the quality of that stuff and send that out as part of your product. And it just makes everything more efficient all the way down the line.
Doesn't that hurt your business if they do that?
Oh yeah, I would say it probably does to an extent. But the thing is, this will never really go away because of just time constraints. The time constraints are never going to change. Bids are due in 2-3 days, and there's only so much work you can get done. So,
look, Ryan, I love that perspective. I think there's, I mean, you know, I could go on and on about this, but I think there are so many people who are fighting positive change to protect their little piece of turf.
Yep.
That if they instead started working toward just their customers' best interests and aligned themselves with what the greater good, sort of looks like, that people like you who are clearly enterprising, clearly problem solvers, clearly connected, and always, sort of working on being better and doing more, you're going to find a way to service your market. You're going to find a way to adapt and to create more. And I just can't say enough about the mindset of, yeah, it probably does hurt our business, but it's the right thing to do, kind of thing.
It is, and we'll just move into training them if we have to, or whatever. But
we'll figure it out.
There'll be a need.
What we won't do is try to keep secrets. And prevent people from making progress. So that we can keep our little piece of the pie. So I love it. I think that's you will always win long term with that mindset. It just might not look exactly how you thought it was going to look, but overall, I think those are going to be the people who are on the right side of history. So great stuff. Stacy, as per usual, here we are with like 5 minutes to go. What kind of questions do we have that we want to pose to Ryan?
Let's see. Do you work on claims, and when the engineer's model isn't right and the actual is more dirt than the model contours show?
Yes. So that happens very, very often. So we get pulled in as a third party a lot of times to claim prior to lawsuit, sometimes all the way through to lawsuit. The engineers will run their own calcs a lot of times on the earthwork volumes, and they won't account for subgrade, or they won't put the specific shrinkage factors in, and they just don't know dirt like we do. So we'll come up with our number, and they'll be like, yeah, that's literally what happened on the job. We were short 1,000 yards or whatever the number is. And so we'll act as a third party specialist in the field to provide those numbers to help with the claim process or litigation or whatnot.
Nice. We talked about this a little bit earlier, but if you can elaborate a little bit on what are you looking for, or how do you find someone that might be interested in doing what you're doing, and what are the opportunities there? How do they seek training or reach out to you, that kind of thing? What do you look for?
Yeah, well, we've developed a full in-house training system. That's another thing with all the softwares out now. We use Trainual. So our systems in-house, we have videos and very specific lists, and we have a very cool training system. So we've built it to where we can get a guy in here with zero software experience, zero takeoff experience, and have them up to speed in less than 30 days and have them productive. So we look in universities, we look for the field guys that have a little bit of plan reading knowledge, that want to get out of the field. the local universities, stuff like that. And I'm starting to go back all the way to the high schools. Trying to get in with the high school crowd as they're coming out of high school and graduating.
Okay. Are you hiring now?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're pretty much always hiring. My business goal right now is to add 3 to 4 techs every year. And then every other year we have to add 2 admin staff on top of that. So we're hiring 4 to 6 people a year, pretty much exponentially as far as I can see at the moment.
In your mind, Ryan, are these? This is just a mindset thing. It's almost nothing else. Are these in your mind tech jobs or are they construction jobs?
I would say they're definitely more tech, and so we do see a struggle for the guys in the field that are used to being outside, coming in like, okay, you're at a desk 8 hours a day now, like maybe with a window in front of you, but that's it. And and you have to stay productive at that desk, and it is a challenge. It was a challenge for me moving into the office from the field. It was a big challenge, but so that's one of the hurdles we definitely run across is that transition.
I believe it.
Let's see. We had another question here. Oh, Lee said remote hire, and that is correct, right? All remote jobs.
No. I think he's saying his whole staff is in-house.
My whole staff's in-house.
Would you consider remote hires?
I have considered it. We've had a couple guys that left here, moved out of state. We actually put remote for a while, and so we've been successful at it. But as far as like a whole new hire remote, we haven't really gone there yet. Kind of trying to figure that out right now, but we haven't gone there yet.
Okay. Mark was asking, do you do field verification?
Yes. So we use drone technology to field verify data and then we use GPS machine control or GPS rovers to go out and do control point verification. But we'll go out and fly a drone over a site, get 1 million points, and watch much more data than the traditional method, and evaluate that against what the engineer provided, which are usually just contours, and just in that alone, you can see a 30% discrepancy a lot of times just because of the volume of data.
Is there applications? Are there applications for this same technology in other trades? Like I'm thinking about landscape, for instance, or something along those lines. Do you see application across other trades?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Anything site related, really. Anything site outdoor. Well, now you can do it. You can do the same scanning indoor as well, but pretty much anything. There's no part of construction you cannot utilize this in.
Man, you got my wheels turning there.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about all kinds of people that have probably never considered this type. So all right, I'll rant for 1 second. So in the landscape industry, there's a lot of there are a lot of tools that are web-based tools that link up with Google Maps, and you just draw your lines, and you can identify this is mulch bed, and this is a retaining wall, and over here is a set of pavers, and I circle that stuff, and then that Google Map combination allows me to do things virtually, but it's all 2D.
Right. Yep.
And I don't know, and I'm seeing Eric Blevins, who's a buddy of mine, on the chat and is a landscaper. I don't know as if he would be thinking, we don't need 3D, man. We're good. Or I don't know. I feel like there's probably some use in that depth, but it would probably be really, you'd have to really justify it for I'm thinking probably more for, super complex projects that actually had some light earthwork or something like that involved.
Yeah, that is kind of part of the slow adoption rate, I think, is finding the projects that can absorb the budget and have a real need for it. You can use it on it is kind of frustrating because you can use it and it's valuable on any project, even the smallest project. But it's like you said, do we really need to go out and fly that front yard or
Yeah, there's a point of diminishing returns.
Definitely.
We're like, nah. Yeah, we're good. All right, sorry, Stacy. Other questions we have?
I don't know if you answered this in the beginning, so forgive me, but what do you use to create a model when you don't have an engineer start?
So we try not to. I'm not going to say that we don't, but we try and request, the engineers' documents. We're not licensed engineers, so we can't legally create a design. We just basically all we are is not interpreters, but we're converters is what we are. We're converting the data from the engineer that's been stamped and he went to school for it. And now we may see problems with his design from a building aspect because we've done the work. And we can say, hey, we can do this better here or fix this problem here because you can't build it that way. We can do that. But we basically, we'll use their plans a lot of times, just PDF set of plans without the engineering files. And we can create a pretty accurate model based on those PDF plans by geolocating them in the right area and then producing the model that way.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think that's what we got, unless you have anything else that
Awesome.
we missed.
We didn't go too far over time. That always makes me happy. I know you're a really busy guy, Ryan, hanging out with us on Pacific time. I talked to Ryan yesterday. Was like, hey man, I'm really sorry. I know how early it's going to be. Ryan's like, it's my kind of guy. He was like, that's great. My phone won't even be ringing yet. This is fantastic. So thank you so much for spending a part of your morning with us, telling us your story. I think the audience got a ton out of this. I know I did too. And I hope that you'd come back and join us again as you continue to take over the world, buddy.
Yeah, awesome, man. Thanks for having me, and I'd love to come back.
Thanks.
We'd love to have you. See you, Ryan.
Have a good day. Bye.
All right, Stacy, let's talk a little bit about what we have coming up. So first thing, next week we've got, I can't wait for this conversation with Eric B. Pacifici. This is kind of a funny story, but a friend of mine, a guy that I have a lot of respect for, shot me over a message one day, and he said, "Man, this guy's link or Twitter post, it really caught my eye." And it was really just about how there's going to be an unbelievable amount of merger acquisition activity over the next 10 years across all market segments, but particularly around the sort of small to mid-sized businesses. And if there's an industry that's loaded with small to mid-sized businesses, it's construction. And so Eric is going to be coming on to talk about when and how to sell your contracting business. It's going to be a great conversation, I think, applicable obviously for owners, but also I think for all those people inside the company that are maybe wrapping their head around the possibility, hey, your company may sell in the next few years, and this is maybe how that's going to look and what to expect, which will be an interesting discussion. So we have that. And then obviously, as always, we want you to, join our email list. It helps us to, keep our stuff in front of you on a weekly basis. No other spam, no, junk. It's all just designed to get you invites to the next session, links to watching the past session if you've missed it, and then just details from our speaker that they may have shared, links to websites, things along those lines. So please send an email to stacyh@steeltoecom.com. And incredibly, Stacy, we're heading into the final turn of,
I know, 1 more
right?
month left.
I think we go through the end of April though, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And then we have a couple months off. We'll reload and we'll come back with season 5, which gives us a little bit of a space to just sort of plug and ask, hey, please, if you or somebody that you know is, somebody like Ryan, who has an awesome story about what they've done in the construction industry and how they're helping to move it forward, please let us know as we're building out our guest list for season 5. At this point, lots of lots of space to do that. We do 12 episodes every season, and we've got, I think maybe 8 slots open or 9 slots open. We don't have much already booked, so please reach out.
Sounds good.
Stacey,
Have a great day, everybody.
You too.
I'll see you soon.
Yep. See ya.
Bye.